such an asshole!
Hey everybody, assholeconsulting.com. Go there if you have any question. Any question, as long as you pay, will be answered as long as I can legally answer it. Hey Cap, I want to start going more places and doing so soon. I'm 24 with my degree in accounting at a state job. I like my job, but it does give me the urge to travel. Dealing with people from work is annoying, but that's another topic. Do you have any suggestions as to how I can get great deals on airline tickets, assumed anywhere in the world, rather than waiting for the right months via Google Flights? Also, would you recommend any of those travel mileage programs that certain airlines have, i.e. travel credit cards, airline reward programs? Yeah, you could do that. I got a buddy who actually works at a credit card company, and it is amazing. Now, these guys know the algorithms and they know all the deals. Plus, they're also competing against other credit cards, so they're masters of manipulating the system. So you can get these credit cards and rack up the miles and other kind of tricks like that. But to answer that one question, yeah, I mean, sure, certainly get yourself a credit card. I'm not picky about certain airlines. I just get a ticket wherever is offering a certain flight, day, and time I want. Thank you, and will remain anonymous. Well, here's the problem, but I know you got a job. The best way to fly cheap is to have no schedule and have no care where you're going. Specifically having no schedule, because most people they don't want to go to Huntsville, Alabama. But if you have an open schedule, which I know you don't, most people don't, but if you do, then you just go fly on standby, and especially if you don't care where you go, you just want to check shit out, then you just go online and say, where's the cheapest flights to wherever? Like, hey, I've never been to Pensacola, Florida. Let's check that shit out for like $29 round trip. So anyway, aside from that, let's go through a couple things. One, book early if you can. It's not going to guarantee you're going to get cheaper flights, but you'll typically get a cheaper flight. But if you can book far enough in advance, find out what the pricing is, you can typically get a cheaper flight. So that's one thing to do. Also, flying standby. Again, you have to have a little bit of a leeway and open schedule for that. For you 9-to-5 wage slaves and commuters, that's not going to be your cup of tea. But for us independently employed nonconformists, it's pretty fucking awesome. Because seriously, you show up, you pay $50 or $25 in some cases, and you just sit and you're like, is there a flight on this one? No? Okay, I'll wait 4 hours and do my work. I mean, you just basically, instead of going to a cubicle slave farm or farm cube slave, whatever, instead of just being somebody's bitch in a downtown corporate office, you grab your laptop and you go sit at the airport and you chill. There's bars, there's restaurants, and you just wait for somebody not to show up and then you go. You could hang out the entire weekend at the airport, maybe getting a really cheap flight out to wherever it is you want to go. Going wherever it's cheap, that's another thing. So in other words, it's not like you're going to try and find deals. These are just you're changing your behavior and your requirements and variables to get really cheap flights. The other thing, you already have Google Flights, which is good, but you can also subscribe or join these membership programs at different airlines, and then they'll send you notifications when they have really cheap flights. Like my buddy Richard, he put me onto a deal. I did Denver round trip for $50 through Frontier. So those El Cheapo airlines, which I love, I adore. Everybody gets their tits in a bundle, but you didn't serve chips. I had to pay for my soda. I'm like, dude, we're going 600 miles an hour for $75 round trip to Seattle and back. What the fuck is your problem? But everyone's a spoiled American brat. But if you go with those cheap ones, Spirit, Frontier, Love, and even Southwest, you get on, you become a member, you sign up. Yeah, you might have to deal with some spammy emails, but also on a flight might come along that's really like, yeah, I do want to go to. Actually, there is a place I do want to go to, Winnipeg, and it is $60 round trip. So that's another thing that you can do. So get on their notification lists or memberships. Also, everyone says, Orbitz, is it Trivago? No, Travelocity, all the Kayak, all these different sites that go out there and you can book a flight online. You may want to go old school and just go to the company's websites directly, the airline's websites directly, and say, hey, what kind of flights can I get? And go to Spirit.com. Go to Frontier.com. Or go, if you're in a hub area, go to, I think Delta's got a hub in Chicago, so it's going to be cheaper because they have so much volume going through. Going directly to the airline site and seeing what they have available, any deals or specials, might also help. So in other words, you're going to be spending at least an hour dicking around trying to find flights, which is cool because if you could save $300, that's $300 an hour, and that's a fine, handsome salary. So we got that. Oh, skipleg.com. Not skipped legged. Legged. It's skip leg, as in jet lagged. Lagged. Skiplegged.com. What's really interesting about some flights is, let's say I want to go to St. Petersburg, Florida. And a flight to St. Petersburg, Florida. No, that's bad. That's wrong. Let me give you a different example. Let's say I'm in Minneapolis and I want to fly to Chicago. And I look at flights from Minneapolis to Chicago and they're $400. Very expensive for me. I'm like, no way, I can't afford that. What you can do is with Skipped Legged, you can find flights to St. Petersburg that stop in Chicago, or other flights to other places where there's a layover in Chicago. And what you'll often find out is, even though the direct flight from Minneapolis to Chicago costs $400, a flight that has its first stop in Chicago might only be $100 for the whole flight from Minneapolis stopping in Chicago and going to St. Petersburg. Well, what you do is you just do the first leg and you get off in Chicago, and you don't have your flight booked on the way down to St. Petersburg. So that site specializes in that, and the airlines don't like it when you do that, but fuck them. And then two, I talked to a buddy of mine who's in the airline industry. He says three great recommendations. One, go and work for the airline. If you, you can be a baggage handler, whatever. People who work for the airlines, the part of their compensation is they get really great travel benefits. If you don't want to work for the airlines, be married to or be related to someone who works in the airlines. And the best thing he recommended, if you want dirt cheap flight, like you could fly wherever you want in the world for near zero, he says become an airline pilot. And they would love to have you on board because they have a jump seat. And this fucker, he gets because they want hey, you can never have too many pilots on a plane. Actually, you can, but they don't mind. They have a little jump seat. And the third reserve backup pilot's there, and they just shoot shit with one another. And usually 9 out of 10 times it's free. But then, like, if he wants to go to Singapore, I think maybe it's $20 for him. I'm like, fucking hell! Like, so pilots get essentially to fly for free. So that's it. So yeah, those are the ways that I either do myself, could think of, knew of, friends told me, or professionals in the industry told me about. But yeah, if it's not like the airlines don't know what they're doing. It's a pretty tight market, but it's almost like you have to reverse your technology. Like, you have to go old school. Like, maybe even contact a travel agent. They might get some deals, because what they're throwing up there on the internet now, you think, oh, I got a great deal. It's like, yeah, they're maybe keeping it for insiders, like through their preferred travel agents, or for people that actually have members that say, American Airlines. Never fly U.S. Air. Never fly. If you have U.S. Air, don't fly U.S. Air. Just never fly. You know what? That airline doesn't even exist. They don't have planes. They say they have a website and they act like they have planes. They don't even exist. They're just people that take your money and like, oh, I don't know why the plane's not here. Oh. So anyway, hope that helps. Talk to you later. Toodles.